Hey guys, are you wondering what the 5 things that you need to know is for buying a home in the current market? Well, stay tuned to find out. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing the 5 things that you need to know in the current real estate market to buy a home effectively. I'm Josh.
And I'm Barbara. And we're real estate agents here in the Phoenix Scottsdale metro area. We've both lived here for a very long time. So we get a lot of calls from people that are thinking of moving here and asking us tons of questions. And you know what? That's okay. We love answering your questions. So feel free to reach out to us. You can send us a text, an email, a DM, however you want to get a hold of us. We are here to answer all of your questions.
Yep, and speaking on that, that's why we're making the video today, is to talk to you guys about the top 5 things that you need to know as buyers to purchase a home in the current real estate market here in the Phoenix Metro. So these 5 things we're talking about are in no particular order. They're all quite important, and be more than happy to talk to you and more in depth about any of the specific ones, and then maybe there are other ones that you might have questions on that aren't in this video. So please just leave a comment down below or reach out to us. We're more than happy to talk to you about all those. But jumping right into it, our first thing is inspection. Now, during the COVID times over the last year or two before, definitely up until about last May, June, inspections were kind of a thing of luxury. Most of the times the market was so hot in so many different areas, especially down here in the Phoenix Metro, that if you were going to get an inspection, it would be just for information purposes only. You wouldn't really be able to do anything with that. The usual purpose of an inspection is you as the buyer will come out to a prospective home that you want to purchase and get a certified inspector to come out to give a once-over of basically everything in the home. Now you have a general inspector who goes through most things in generalities, and then if you have any specific things you want to be checked out, such as let's say the roof or the plumbing or anything like that, then we'll arrange to have one of those specialty people come out to look at those specific things. Now, the important thing with an inspection is it lets you as a buyer know what the condition of the home is in, as well as what things are going to need to be addressed or immediately need to be addressed, such as maybe there's a roof leak or low water pressure, cracks in the tiles, or anything of that sort. And that's the entire point of getting an inspection done.
Yeah, the whole idea behind the inspection is the inspector is going to do things that we just can't see. So he's going to climb up into the attic, or he's going to go, if you have a crawl space under your home, he would go under there. We don't have too many of those here in Phoenix. But he's going to go into places that we just can't see, and he's going to check on everything from the plumbing to the electrical, the foundation. The idea is to uncover things that maybe we didn't see when we went into the home and we're looking at it. So very, very important things to consider, because some of the things, if you don't find them until later, they could be very, very expensive. So we want to make sure that you're protected. So we always recommend you get a full home inspection done.
Yep, so the first part of that is obviously so you know what it is you're buying specifically. And then the second part of it is because you know what you're buying, then you can negotiate with the seller and try to get some of those things fixed if they are of pertinent importance to you, such as, let's say there's a roof leak or something like that. It can be addressed and through the negotiation, the contract process of buying that home. That way, when you do move in, all that stuff is taken care of for you. Now, I do want to say all of these things are negotiable, and they're going to be what's on the BINSR. The BINSR is the Buyer Inspection Notice Seller Response, and that is a document that you list out all the different things that you would like the seller to take care of, and then the seller will come back to you and either say, yes, I will take care of it, no, I won't take care of it, or sometimes they will give you money or lower the price of the purchase in lieu of the repairs. And that's a very important thing to make sure that you are happy and nothing surprises you after the purchase of your new home.
So next up on our list is you need to work with the right agent. So there's a lot of agents, some of them new, some of them old. Some of them work in specific areas or with specific types of properties. So it's really, really important that you work with an agent that can help you and understands your needs. So we want to make sure that you ask your questions and that you feel comfortable with the agent that you're choosing to work with you, because you're going to rely on them to provide a lot of information for you so that you make sure that you make a really good purchase decision. For example, we want the agent to be able to point out some issues that there might be with a property. Maybe it backs to a busy street that you didn't know about, or maybe there's some new construction that's going to be going on near the home that might impact your values. The last thing that you want to do is get into a home and find out somewhere down the line that there was something that you wish you would have known about and your agent just didn't point it out. So it's really important to question your agent, make sure that they know the area very well that you're looking at, and so you're not end up with surprises down the road.
Yeah, because the agent's number one job is to make the buying process for you as the buyer, or the selling process if you are a seller, as easy and straightforward as possible for you, because they are the ones who will have all the knowledge or be able to direct you in where to get the knowledge if it's not their particular area of expertise, and just make it as smooth of a process as can be.
Yeah, and one more thing with the agent is make sure they have good communication skills. Make sure that they're going to be responsive. So a good way to do that is send them a text message and see how long it takes them to respond. If it takes, a day or 2 days for them to respond, then maybe that's not the agent for you. You want someone that's going to be responsive, because if you have a question, I know it's really important that you want to get an answer ASAP.
Moving on to the third thing on our list, again, these are in no particular order as they are all are quite important, is know what you're looking for. I know that sounds kind of vague, but let me explain a little bit. So knowing what you're looking for is very important, because there's so many different choices of what type of house, what type of floor plan it is, what community it is, where in the city or in the states it is, how close it is to your work, if it is a north-south facing yard or an east-west facing yard. And why do those things matter? Because, for instance, let's take the yards. If you like waking up to a sunrise, that means you're going to want to have your backyard in a easterly facing direction. Or if you prefer to have the sunrise on your front yard, then you want the front yard that east facing direction. So many different communities offer so many different things that it's really important for you as a buyer to narrow down what it is that you're looking for in your perfect home. What I always recommend my buyers do is make a list, kind of like a T-chart of pros and cons of what things they really want in their home and then what things they really don't want in it. And then once you have that list, ideally if you can order it in terms of importance, it's because unless money is of no object, a lot of times you're going to have to pick and choose which of your pros are most important to you and which couple cons you might be able to live with.
Yeah, I think there's no home that's going to give you 100%, so you're going to need to be satisfied with maybe 80 to 90%. So like Josh said, make a list. What are your must-haves? What are your would like to haves? And what are the things that maybe just don't matter? And then that will help us narrow in and find you the perfect home for you and for your family.
Another tip I always like to give to my buyers is if they have a particular type of home or specifically a community or area in mind, for them to go and check it out at multiple different times a day, from morning, afternoon, evening, and night, just to make sure that they're aware of everything that's around the area, make sure they like the look and feel of it at different times a day, because sometimes a neighborhood could look fantastic during the day, but might not give you the best feeling at night. And that's just something that is tough for us as agents to really describe or explain to you, because everyone has different likes, wants, and desires with that. So the easiest way is for you to actually go to those different communities and see which ones you really like. Then once you have that narrowed down to a community or a specific area, then we can start showing multiple different homes and different styles for you to figure out that aspect of the puzzle. Because all these different things are pieces to a whole puzzle to get you to the best home possible.
So the next item up on our list is to have a budget in mind. So, and if you're going to be getting a loan, make sure you've spoken with the lender, because the last thing we want to do is get you out and start showing you properties, and then all of a sudden we find out that's just not in your budget. And it can be very, very disappointing. So we always recommend before you start your search that we get you connected with an awesome lender that can help you figure out what your budget is, what you're going to be comfortable with. Just because you're qualified for a number doesn't mean that that's the number that you want to spend. So that's what's great about working with a lender is they'll talk about your budget and help you figure out those numbers first. And then once we have that dialed in, then we can start figuring out some of the other things that we've already talked about today.
Yep, and then even if you aren't getting a loan or a mortgage for the property, if you are paying cash, we would heavily recommend talking to a financial advisor. That way they can also talk about the different budgets and the whole lifestyle budget associated with that, just to make sure that everything is good and you are comfortable with the amount of money that you're going to be putting out on a home to purchase. Now, I'm not a big fan of some of the other methods, such as on HGTV. If you've ever seen Property Brothers or any of those, well, they'll go out, they'll have a list from their clients of everything they want, then they'll show them that property, even though they know their budget is, let's say, $800,000. They'll show them the property that is everything, and it's $2.5 million. And I do not like psyching them up and showing them that just what they can't have. So it's always, in my opinion, better to have that budget in mind. That way we can hit the ground rolling and look at properties right in your budget, because why would you want to see something you know you can't have? That just doesn't sound fun. So the last one is a bit of a conglomerate one, and that is just to be mindful of the prices of homes right now in this market, because the market is shifting. We are now in the Phoenix Metro more of a balanced market, so prices have come down quite a bit, and you'll see some houses that have been on the market a little bit longer that were priced according to the market at the time they were listed, but haven't sold yet, and so they've had to drop it. Now, a lot of times, especially in the past, the longer a home has been on the market, at least in the past, a lot of buyers and other people would think, oh, I can get a much better deal and go way under list price. Now,
Or they assume that something is wrong with the home and that's why it hasn't sold.
exactly. And we just want to inform you that a lot of times it is just to differences in the market conditions, which is causing the fluctuations in house prices. Now, that's not to say that every one of those homes on the market that has been there a while isn't overpriced. Some are, some aren't, some might even be underpriced. But why is this important to you? Because now in a balanced market, back to our first thing we said with the inspection and being able to ask for repairs or other things, you do have a little bit more in the negotiation powers now as a buyer, since it is balanced. It's about equal on the buyer and the seller side. So you can ask for a bit more, and you can also negotiate a bit more. But I would hazard you not to try to stretch that too much, because I've seen it happen many times where a buyer thinks it's overpriced because the market has changed, that they can very much lowball an offer on a home before even starting up negotiations, or ask for everything in the kitchen sink on the inspection report. And a lot of times that can end up just blowing up the deal, and that's frustrating for everybody.
Yeah, I have seen that quite frequently where a buyer will get an inspection report and then they'll ask for everything. And the seller's like, there's just no way. So we don't want those deals to blow up. If you want that house, we want you to get it. And we want to make sure that if there are major things, that the seller understands that those things need to be taken care of. And we want to be able to negotiate those things for you. But if there's a burned out light bulb, no, we don't want to be asking the seller to repair something like that.
Exactly, and that's why, again, it comes into that number one of the inspection, and then also number two of working with the right agent. Is our job as agents is to listen to what you are wanting and then negotiate for you on your behalf to the sellers, or vice versa if you are selling. That way we can come to a good common ground to make every party as happy as possible and keep the deal going through.
We want to make it a win-win for everybody. You want to buy, the seller wants to sell, or vice versa. And our job is to put that together for you.
Exactly. While always being on your side and being foremost for you first, but still, we are just out there to make it as smooth and easy as possible. So that covers our top 5 most important things when buying a home to keep in mind. Hopefully you found some of that stuff interesting. Maybe you disagree with some of it. And if you do agree or disagree or have any other questions, please leave a comment down below or reach out to us. Our contact information is listed right down below. More than happy to always talk to all of you guys. to give you as much information as possible on all these big decisions. Because for most of us,
They are big decisions, very expensive big decisions.
yep, for most of us, buying a house is the most expensive thing we will ever buy in our lives. So we just want
And we don't do it very often, so that's why it's so important to make sure that your questions are all answered and you're working with a great agent.
No, exactly. Well, hey, if you did like that video, hit that like button. Helps us out a lot. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified of all our future content because we upload every week. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see ya.